Hello, racers, and welcome back to Race in Review, episode 4 post Japan. This is the podcast made by a couple of sim racers who'd also like Formula One. And of course, one likes Lewis Hamilton, the other one likes Max Verstappen, and we can still get along in the wonderful world of Formula One. My name is John, and I'll be your host today. And joining me is, of course, the man with the best hair in the business, but unfortunately, the worst taste in Formula One t shirts. It's none other than James. Hey, James.
Hello. What are you talking about tasting Formula One t-shirts? I designed and had this made, I'll have you know.
That is true. I was just giving you a chance to advertise it, mate.
Thanks.
He's wearing a red shirt. If you're not watching the YouTube or the Spotify video version, James is wearing a red t-shirt with a white-colored Formula One driver sipping tea on it, and it says Tifosi, as if I've already mentioned, for Lewis Hamilton. It's actually a pretty cool t-shirt, and I've got one as well. But I'm wearing a Red Bull outfit today.
Well, you had
special occasion.
Yeah.
James, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, thanks. Yeah, how are you?
Quite all right after this weekend. Much better, actually, after this weekend. I'm really good, mate.
I can imagine. Yeah, that was interesting. Wasn't expecting the result we got, but yeah.
I could say I wasn't either, but we'll come back to our predictions shortly.
No, let's not. We don't do predictions on this show.
James, the Formula One race in Japan, it got put on early in the yearly release. Normally, we have a rain or actually washed away Grand Prix at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Pretty dry this week. We would have rain on Sunday. We didn't get anything until after the race was done, right?
There was a little bit in the morning as well, wasn't there? The track it had like one or two little puddles still when they actually got around to racing on Sunday, but nothing that affected strategy or what tyres they'd use or anything like that. But yeah, it was almost too dry with all the fires that we kept getting on Friday and Saturday.
That was annoying. Free practice too was just, okay, there's Jack doing. Okay, that sucks. Okay, there's Alonso. Oh, that sucks. Oh, those two red flags after like 20 minutes. We still have 30 minutes left for this free practice too. Oh, there's a fire. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah. We have 20 minutes left for free practice too. Oh, there's another fire. There's 10 minutes left for free practice too.
Yeah.
And there's another fire.
Final one at the end that stopped them from being able to do the practice starts at the end of FP2 as well. Insane. Yeah. It was kind of crazy, actually. It gives you an idea of how, like, all those wildfires in California earlier in the year, and you know what happens in Australia and stuff like that, where you get these wildfires. It in some ways it demonstrated how easily and how quickly that can happen, because the way those fires spread when it was windy, I don't know about anyone else, but I was looking at that thinking that's kind of scary. Like, just how quickly that black spot of just charred grass grew in the wind.
One of the stewards came running onto it with the little fire extinguisher. It's like, oh wait, it's like, guys, please help me, guys, get go somebody else help me.
It's like one little spark, and 2 minutes later, it takes like five or six marshals to put the fire out. It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't say steward. I said marshals, of course. Yeah. James, shall I do a Japanese Grand Prix summary in 1 minute?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay. I got two versions. This is version 1. Max wins the Japanese Grand Prix. He comes into the pit, has a slow pit stop. Lando Norris goes lawn mowing, and we still have Max winning the race. And that's it. No yellow flags, no DNFs, no crashes, no spins, no nothing.
Not in the race, at least. Yeah.
I got another one though, if that's better. I think that's this.
Go for it. I mean, that basically does sum it up. But if you want to go into more detail, go for it.
I'll put on my podcast voice and try this. Okay.
All right.
So Verstappen wins Suzuka with grit, grass, and a touch of birthday cake. Max Verstappen finally broke his 2025 duck with a controlled yet dramatic win in Japan. His 4th in a row at Suzuka, holding off the ever-present McLaren duo of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. The world champion now sits just 1 point off the top of the standings and presumably one apology letter short from Norris. Verstappen got away clean from pole, keeping Norris and Piastri at bay through the early stages. But drama struck when, during the pit window, where Max slightly slow stop allowed Norris to get cheeky at the pit exit. The Brit attempted to go side by side, only to get an unexpected tour of Suzuka's grassy hospitality section. Both drivers aired their grievance via radio standard, but the stewards, clearly enjoying the show, decided not to investigate. The incident left Verstappen free to build a gap through the McLarens didn't let him off easy. Piastri, celebrating his 24th birthday, happy birthday, nearly gifted himself a P2, hounding Norris in the closing laps. But Norris, perhaps motivated by the idea of not being passed on live TV, dug deep and held on to second. Verstappen cruised across the line 1.4 seconds ahead to claim the number 64 victory, while Piastri settled for third. Birthday candles unlit. Leclerc brought Ferrari home in fourth, ahead of the Mercedes pairing of George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. The rookie Italian even led the race for a stint in the dramatic Netflix soundtrack before slotting in for sixth. Hamilton, now in a red suit and some Ferrari red mist, grabbed 7, while rookie Isaac Hadjar scored his first points with a strong P8. Albon snagged 2 more points for Williams in 9th, but Oliver Behrman took the final point in P10 after receiving helpful directions from his teammate Ocon. Fernando Alonso finally finished the race, P11, and was probably just happy his car stayed in one piece. And then Yuki Tsunoda, debuting for Red Bull in front of the home crowd, didn't score, but still had back driver of the day, proving fan votes are the true Constructors' Championship. Gasly, Sainz, and Doohan continued Alpine's point-free World Tour in P13 to P15, with Hulkenberg, Lawson, Ocon, Bortoletto, and Stroll filling out the grid like a group project where nobody did the reading. With Max back in the winner's circle and the championship race tighter than Verstappen's line through turn 1, it's anyone's guess who will have the last laugh next time. I really worked on this one, James.
I can tell. It was very good, yeah.
And when you read it out like this, it was a really exciting Grand Prix, wasn't
it? It was, in theory, on paper. Yeah. In practice, not quite so much. I mean, it was close at the front, and it was close for the majority of the race, so that was entertaining. The slow pit stop obviously sparked a little bit of drama that fizzled into nothing. Yeah. I think what was more impressive about that race was some of the stuff that happened a little bit further down the field, really. Hadjar in the points.
Hadjar had an amazing weekend.
He did. Albon, again, in the points, is decent. And Behrman finishing 10th in the Haas, I think, is very, very good. I'm very impressed by that one. Yeah, I think.
Talk about Lawson.
Lawson's not. Yeah, I mean, he qualified okay, didn't he? But race, not so much. I think the other thing, which might end up actually being a talking point, I suppose, is Yuki.
Now let's talk about Yuki. Make it a separate topic, even.
Yeah, let's do that.
We said last week that Yuki might have to wilts under the pressure in Japan.
Yeah.
How did he do?
I think overall he did very well. And I think he's going to be disappointed, and I think he shouldn't be. Because in practice, he looked very, very fast, very, very strong. He was keeping pace with Max, and he was looking on for a very good weekend and finishing in the points. His qualifying was a letdown, and I think that's what just destroyed the rest of his weekend.
I've got a question about his qualifying, which I've not seen many people talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the normally they go into Q2, right? Max goes out on old tires, and they send Yuki out on old tires.
Right.
There's not been two Red Bulls making Q1 this year at all.
No.
Yuki goes out on old tires and basically overdoes his round. It was rubbish.
Yeah.
Making sure his second stint in Q2 has all the pressure on it, and he doesn't make it. why won't you put Yuki out on fresh tires just to make sure his confidence gets in Q1 and see it out in the race?
Yeah,
On a track we knew there was little to none tire work going on anyway.
I can see your point of view on that, and
you want these guys to have confidence to go into the race, prove everyone he can do it in Q1, and then you put so much pressure on the boy. It's him. It is old man. On the boy, on the guy, on his forced home crowd. You have to do it on Q2 like you're a world champion as well. Just give him soft, give him 2 stints on the stop, on the optimal tire, just to get on Q1.
I think
now Hajar does it.
I think I agree, but I don't know if it's just because of hindsight now, to be honest. Because
I said it on the moment, to be fair.
Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that at the time, and I think talking about it now, obviously that would have been a better idea for them, and then just get him into Q3, and then even if he's only got 1 set of tires in Q3, at least he's done better than any other qualifying for the second car. And I mean, he already has, but it's just better, isn't it? Like you said, passing's.
No, he qualified 15th, I think. He started 14th because of a penalty, but
yeah, and he finished 12th. So in hindsight, yes, I think at the time they probably were just thinking, well, he's had very good practice sessions. He looks as fast as Max. We don't need to do this. And obviously that bit them. I mean, his first qualifying lap on the used tyres was never really going to be enough. But his second run was it was scruffy.
Yeah, but I think that's also because of the pressure then on.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Yeah, he had a couple of moments. He had a really bad exit out of the final turn. It just wasn't a good lap, and I guess Red Bull kind of gambled, but they were gambling rather, based on the evidence they'd seen in practice sessions. And in practice, he was looking really, really good and looked like Q3 was basically a given. So that's why I mean that. Oh, that's what I'm getting at when I say that Yuki is probably feeling a bit disappointed, but he shouldn't be, because his race really, or his weekend, looks bad because of that one mistake, or not necessarily one mistake, that one bad lap in qualifying, and he was just hampered by the fact that the track is just not really a track for overtaking, especially since they took away DRS down the back straight because they don't want them going through 130R with the DRS open. Or not anymore, because they used to do, I think, didn't they, at one point.
Do and try it.
So, yeah. Overall, I am impressed. And I think he has jumped into that car and he's got on with it a lot better than any driver for quite a long time, really, as far as the Red Bull number 2 seat goes.
Here's my controversial take.
Yep.
Yuki did well. I agree. But the Red Bull has improved as well. Wouldn't Lawson just be doing just as well if they just kept him in the car?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the car.
There was no doubt there.
No, there isn't really. I mean, the car, obviously. This is what I keep talking about, or keep getting at when I talk about like track dependent and stuff like that. When we did the pre-season show, and when we've talked about, people talking about McLaren are just going to run away with it, and I'm like, well, hang on a minute, you've got a long season, you've got rules that are going to change, and you have no idea how they're going to do it at different tracks. And I think at Suzuka there was an element of the Red Bull suiting that track a little bit better and the McLaren not suiting that track a little bit. So that closed the gap, because McLaren just didn't look on it really all weekend compared to how they had done at the previous 2 tracks. So I am not convinced that the Red Bull is suddenly a much better car, and I'm certainly not convinced that Liam Lawson would suit it now. compared to how he was driving previously. I still think he wouldn't do very well. And I just, we've talked about it plenty of times. We talked about it in the last show. I think even like that Yuki, everyone has basically said it. Yuki is the guy that should have been in the number 2 seat from the start.
No, Daniel should be in, but that's a different story.
And the only reason Yuki's not getting in is because Honda's ditching Red Bull. So Red Bull's like, well, why would we do you a favour for your driver, effectively? And it's just all it comes down to is politics, which is rubbish, but that's part of Formula One. But now he's in the car, and I think he's proven that he should be in the car, and he should have been in the car from the start.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, no, so I think I agree, actually. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Yuki. And
I am. I mean, it's a sample size of one so far. It's one track. It'd be
yeah,
interesting.
he could have failed horribly. I mean, and I this is another one. And then another one driver wanted to discuss, because a sample size of one track doesn't mean too much, James, because Isaac Hadjar failed to start in Australia with a mega blunder.
Yeah,
but he's been impressing me for the last 2 races.
He's been good ever since. I mean, to be fair, in Australia, he was looking good until that blunder. He had good practice sessions and a good qualifying, and he looked like he was just jumping straight into Formula One, like he'd been in it for a couple of seasons. And then he made that mistake behind the
safety car in the turn 1 into Australia rain.
Yeah, it was on the outlap, not the outlap. Sorry, the formation lap.
Formation lap, yeah.
But he's just put that behind him straight away, and he's doing very, very well. And to finally get points is well deserved. I think he would have got points in China if it wasn't for the fact that
the team messed up the pit stop.
Well, they did the 2 stops rather than the 1 stop, didn't they? Like everybody else. I was trying to remember how to name them because they keep changing. The Racing Bulls is what we're calling them. VCARB's gone. It's Racing Bulls. So
and they make it RB to make it easy for us.
Yeah, but then we've already got Red Bull. He's also RB. So it's Red Bull and Racing Bulls. But yeah, Isaac, I think he finally got the race that he deserved, that he was due to get from the very start of the season. And I mean, we're only 3 races in, so it's not that far. But this is why I expect from him going forwards, personally. And I think it's what Racing Bull and Red Bull and whoever else would be expecting from him going forwards, is that he should be a consistent points finisher. Because I was strongly backing Williams as being one of the favourites of the midfield teams, and I'm not so sure that's the case now. Racing Bulls definitely look good.
They do. And Haas?
And I'm not so sure about Haas. I think Alpine have the potential. Again, it all comes down to track dependency as well, because we see that some cars one weekend are doing very well and another weekend are struggling. But I think in general, Haas are not great. I think Ollie Behrman probably outperformed the car a little bit in Japan to finish 10th. That was solid.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that all came about due to a very, very good qualifying from him.
Mm-hmm. Do you like this quick shot fire questions topic thingies?
Sure.
All right. Ferrari is washed.
At the moment, they're not looking great. No. But then Leclerc finished
4th.
He beat both Mercedes. So, yeah, Hamilton didn't have a great race. He did a 2-stop, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And that, did he?
I think he did. And I mean, in his case, I think it makes sense just to try it.
Yeah, but he was just in no man's land. Oh, yeah, he did. No, he didn't. He just stopped.
Oh, he did the reverse. He started.
He did the reverse, and it didn't end up working because Kimi Antonelli managed to drag those mediums out forever.
Well, everyone did, honestly.
Yeah, but Kimi more than anyone else. And that actually was probably the better strategy, was to just drag those mediums out for way longer than he did. And Hamilton did the reverse strategy to everybody else, probably hoping for a pre-pit stop behind a safety car or something later on, or just to extend for as long as possible.
I think Lewis said, we were waiting for the inevitable safety car that normally comes to Japan.
Yeah.
We didn't get a yellow flag in this.
No, it was unreal for Japan. Yeah, I mean, no DNFs as far as car failures and mechanical
that can
failures is
happen,
fine.
but yeah.
But not even somebody really like having a massive excursion off track. And off track, there is a lot of gravel, obviously, at Japan. And then cars get beached very, very often there.
Grass turns into fire.
Yeah.
Didn't happen either.
Yeah. It was a bit too soggy after the morning rain, I suppose, for that. But yeah, it was a sort of unusual Japan. But we're having the race at a different time of year, and we're getting different weather, and
how unexpected.
Yeah, to me, it was very unexpected to not get a safety car.
But Ferrari isn't washed, I think. I feel it's a bit of unlucky, but they aren't on the top 3 currently.
No, they are probably 4th fastest, and Leclerc just had a good race and good qualifying to get himself into a position for a good race and finish 4th, which is good. I mean, somebody pointed out. I never remember how to pronounce the name on Discord. Nurzik, is it?
Oystein. You can just say his real name.
I didn't know that. I feel bad. Pointed out that was the biggest points haul Ferrari have had so far this season, but that's nothing to boast about.
Disqualification doesn't help.
Yeah, there is that. But them's the rules as well. So
yeah, fair enough. About Ferrari, one more thing that really stood out for me. What do you think about the communication between both Ferrari drivers and their engineers? We get a meme every single week, though.
I don't think there's a problem there. I mean, there was a little bit of banter again between Charles and his. I think said like, use this setting. And he's like, there's a reason why I'm not. There's a reason why I don't, or whatever.
You told me already. There's a reason I'm not using it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't read much into that. I don't think
Lewis is having fun with his engineer, though. They're getting to know each other still.
Yeah, he wanted to know where he was losing time, and he was just told corners, and he was like, "Yeah, but how much time in those corners?" He wanted a bit more detail, and again,
but like instantly, can you tell me how much you need to help me? How much? Where am I losing speed? Yeah. And within a second, he says 1, 5, 7, 9, and 11. Like,
yeah,
oh, he actually had that sort of prepared already. What's this?
Yeah, he just listed all the corners. It's like, well, if you already know, why are you just telling me? But it's a new team. It's a new pairing of driver and engineer. It'll take a little bit of time.
But it's funny. It's definitely worth putting up the radio for Lewis, because I think
it's funny. But I don't make anything of it. I don't take anything away from that. I don't think there's any drama there or anything.
I've learned from this, though.
Have you?
I will never forget that water is wet.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Next one, James.
Yeah.
Driver of the day is totally useless. They should just drop it now.
No.
Kimi Antonelli last time. Max Verstappen putting in the race of his life, qualification of his life, and not being even top 3.
It doesn't mean anything. It's not worth any points. It's just a nice to have. It
used to be something they could be proud of. At least you were driving.
I don't think the drivers have ever really cared that much about that. It's a popularity contest. It doesn't mean anything.
Photos from the country go first, apparently.
Yeah.
They count extra.
But as far as Formula One's concerned, it's engagement, and that's what they like. They want the fans engaged. So it's just a bit of fun. I don't take anything from it. Like Antonelli getting driver of the day last weekend or whatever it was, when he spent the entire race in 8th position or 6th position, wherever he ended up. I think it was 6th after disqualifications, maybe. I just made no impression on the race, but got driver of the day. Like, all right, well, someone's had a bit of fun there, haven't they? Someone's managed to get a group of people together and basically troll the Formula One fan base by voting for somebody that didn't really deserve it. Okay, cool. Formula One doesn't really care either, I don't think. I mean, I think I think there has been times where they have scrapped votes that they have thought were suspicious. Because I can remember, vaguely at least, that there was a time where somebody who was having an abysmal race and was effectively being trolled was like top of the percentage, like at 3/4 of the way through the race. And then when it got to the end of the race, they were suddenly nowhere. And I think they just stepped in and was like, I can't remember who it was. Like, take it for example, Stroll. He crashed his car or something, and everyone was trying to troll Formula One by voting him as driver of the day because he crashed his car on, like, wherever it was. This is just an example because I can't remember I can't remember exactly. And I think they just got in and basically said, well, they're obviously taking the piss, basically, so we're just going to remove those votes. And I think they have done that on occasion. But at the end of the day, the race is in Japan and all the Japanese fans are suddenly engaged and they're all voting for Yuki. Well, you can't really.
No, I mean, I know, but
it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't count for anything.
No,
it's just,
but like make it a fan vote drive, whatever. I think in football, player of the match actually means something. It means you put in an excellent performance. And
sure, it's votes on that. Do the fans vote on that?
Fans, usually fan votes as well. But I think most importantly is the analysts just say this is
so it's kind of weighted. So the analysts probably have a stronger vote percent.
But then if you have win the match, man of the match, you get a trophy for it. It's like this was actually a good day for me.
Yeah. Well, if they want to actually make it a proper thing, they need to make it more than just a fan vote. They need to do it like that. They need to have, pundits or whatever. Like, you get.
We can do it.
Well, we could. Yeah, I'd happily do it. You could get, journalists and like the commentators and stuff from all the different regions. So you could get like the British commentary, the Dutch commentary, the German commentary, whatever. Yeah. All the different commentary teams and journalists or whatever, or
that would make sense.
Broadcasters.
Right?
You get all the broadcasters to chip in their vote, and then make it mean something. But when you put it out to just the fans, it can never mean anything because it's like putting stuff on the internet. Like you are guaranteed to attract people that will want to manipulate it for a laugh because the internet's full of trolls. And it's the same with something like this. You just end up with, all it would take is for Reddit or some forum or something to just say, right, for Bahrain, everybody vote Lance Stroll for driver of the day. Wouldn't that be funny? And then that's what happens. And then you end up with, Lance Stroll somehow won it, or they have to disregard all the Lance Stroll votes because they can tell that it's obviously, a coordinated thing.
So they have a power rating, which is usually released on F1.com after the race.
Yes.
I think this actually makes more sense. If you look at the power rating, they give drivers a rating from 1 to 10.
Yeah, they do that. And that is based on journalists.
And that is the proper reflection of how good a race. If you look at the power rating,
they don't release that.
No, so not many people know it. And I think also for fans, it's weird. You wanted to see who brought in the best performance. I think that's why they should broadcast it. But Max Verstappen got a 10 out of 10 this weekend.
Yeah.
Hajar got a 9 out of 10. It was in second this weekend.
Yep.
Oliver Behrman, an 8.8 in third on this weekend.
Yep.
Norris an 8.4. Leclerc an 8.4. Albon an 8.4. Piastri is 7. An 8.0 on the 7th position.
I would still say that's low for Piastri. I think he deserved higher than that. If Norris got an 8.4, then Piastri deserves an 8.4 as well.
Yeah, so here they say he's never going to find a way past Norris and Verstappen. Despite showing stronger pace than Norris in the second stint, he had been a step behind his teammate across the entire weekend. His teammate gets an 8.4, so he drops a few places on these rankings. It sort of made sense.
I suppose.
Antonelli 7.8, Russell 7.6, and Alonso is 6.8 on the 10. The leaderboard season average is now Max with 9.1, Albon with an 8.9, Norris with an 8.5, Piastri with an 8.4, Russell, Antonelli, Leclerc, Behrman, Gasly, and Hadjar. I think that's a more realistic reflection of how these seasons.
Yeah, but that's been done by journalists that take it seriously.
True.
So
that's why about power rankings, but I like this more as a general representation towards fans to show you the quality of each driver. Then
I agree.
And you don't ever see this. You got what we call scoreboard journalism, which results shows how good the driver was. You get the fan vote driver of the day, which doesn't mean anything. I agree. And I think these power rankings should be put on the broadcast as well, even if they start Sunday's race with the power rankings from the past 3 races. Then at least you know which driver you should look for. If you're not a fan, like if you don't watch it as deep as we do, it adds value, I think.
Yeah,
or maybe I'm just
I think it does add value. I think the problem is, I think no one really cares as much by the time it gets to the next race because it's not as relevant anymore. That's the thing. But it would be better if they could get that out before the race ends and do it as like the driver of the day. So
we'll gladly present it if you're watching FOM. We'll gladly present it for you.
We're available. Yeah. They could. If they could manage to do that, and I don't really see why not, because all they have to do is get these people that write these, create these articles and do press, Formula One press, get these people to just vote during the race like the fans do, and you could have the fan voted driver of the day and the power driver of the day or whatever, or like the power ranking, and have that at the same time.
And give them trophies. Get the power ranking a proper Pirelli tire again.
That could be fun.
And give the fan voted a little Max Verstappen Japanese bear hat.
Yeah. It's like a hat with a bear wearing a hat with a little bonsai and a Lego. No, not Lego. We figured out it's miniature Red Bull car sat in the bear's hat.
Yes, I do want that on the thumbnail. I'm just saying, not putting any pressure on.
Okay. It'll be on the thumbnail. That hat was fantastic. In fact, just shout out to all of the fans at the Japanese Grand Prix, because some of the amount of people that were dressed up as Formula One drivers was insane.
The little kids with the helmets. Have you seen those? Yeah, it's amazing.
The banners and the hats, like they take it to a level that I don't think any other country's fans quite does. Certainly as widespread. Like, I know there's a guy, there's an American guy who always goes to the Grand Prix in Texas, who has every year he's got like that year's Ferrari built up on his hat. He's a massive Ferrari fan, and there's a couple of people that seem to do this now. But what I'm getting at is that every country has got their fans, and there's a level of engagement that those fans bring. But Japan just seems to take it a step higher than everywhere else, and I love it. It's great. Like the fan shots, every time there was a fire during practice, like the amount of fans that were even there at practice was just crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk about practice for a sec.
All right then.
Are you watching practice FP1 this weekend? Because I don't think there's any driver that's actually in the car that's going to drive FP1 this weekend.
What do you mean? Sorry, you've lost me there.
They all will be putting their reserve drivers into the car on Friday morning. Friday evening, I should say. So I don't have the full list, but I am pretty sure that Max isn't driving. I'm pretty sure, I don't even know I think Druovic and Browning will drive. So for Haas and for Aston Martin. I had the list somewhere, but I think Iwasa is driving for Max.
It's a good one to put the reserve drivers in, because it's the track used for testing, and they've probably got more data to use for benchmarking their reserve driver, or whoever it is, the junior program driver, whoever they're putting in. It kind of makes sense. The drivers that are missing out in FP1, they've already done a lot of laps there in the past. So I will be watching it just because it's on at a reasonable time, and I can just.
This is better, right?
I could just have it on at the side while I'm watching. Sorry, not while I'm watching. While I'm working.
While you're cooking. So,
just well, for
while you're
FP2,
making
maybe.
dinner.
Yeah. So I will watch it. I mean, I try to watch all the practice sessions anyway, even when it's on a not so friendly time.
I shouldn't have said while you're watching. I should have said, do you look forward watching the other guys?
Well, maybe not so much. It might be interesting, but yeah, yeah.
Full Japanese lineup at Red Bull Friday.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Right. I saw a commentary saying, "But why didn't they do that in Japan? Because then Max probably wouldn't have enough time to win it."
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think he'd have won that race if he'd missed a practice session. Oh. Especially when FP2 ended up being basically nothing because of all the red flags.
That would be a waste. James.
Yeah.
Did Max outperform the car here? And how good was this qualifying lap?
I think he's somewhat outperformed the car. I think, like I said earlier on,
it's a decent driver, though, right?
I mean, he's not too shabby. We've got to be fair on that. He's all right. He's certainly in like the top 5 on the grid at the moment.
Alonso said like he was smiling at watching the television during qualifying, and he's like, that car shouldn't be on P1. There's only one driver on the current grid that's able to do this. It's amazing to see.
Yeah, I do think that there was an element of, like I said earlier on, I think there was an element of the Red Bull seemed to get on better this weekend. Whether that's
but did you see that on board? The amount of oversteer that car had, the amount of times you were like, these guys just gonna rush enough for 330 an hour.
Yeah, it always does. But also the McLaren just didn't quite look on it there for whatever reason. So I think there was a couple of things in play. I do think that. I mean, if you look at Yuki in practice, he was on it as well. Could he have got pole? I don't think he could, even with a good lap. So I think there is the Max factor there that got him onto pole or got that car onto pole. But I think also the margin was reduced between Red Bull and McLaren. And I think that also played its part and helped. Because McLaren, I mean, we've had races where they were like, it looked close in Q2, and then in Q3 final run, they were like 4 or 5 tenths ahead of the Red Bull. And then they just dominated in the race, and that just didn't happen at all this weekend, really.
No, the weird thing was during qualifying, I think Piastri got a purple as sector 1. Norris got a purple sector 2. Piastri got a purple sector 3. But Max with 3 greens got pole.
Yeah.
Shows how little there was in it, actually.
Yeah. Oh, it was very, very close. And I mean, the race result was close. Like, it was like 2 and a bit seconds between the top 3. That's incredibly close for Formula 1.
No mistakes from either of them.
No. And I think, had the track been a track where you could overtake,
last question.
Yeah.
James, these brilliant qualification, these brilliant driver tracks are amazing. We never, ever want to get rid of Japan, Monza, Spa, Dutch Zandvoort, except there's no way of overtaking with these cars. They should probably have to be left out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to give them a chance on the new regulations next year, first of all.
These tracks are amazing. I saw some DTM or other drivers on these. It's always good driver, but with Formula 1, the cars are just too wide. The cars are too big. The cars can't follow.
That is the main problem. The cars are too big, and there are not really any substantial braking zones for somebody to try and make an overtake. Certainly not one that leads from... Like, the reason why nobody really can make an overtake into turn 1 is because they barely even brake into turn 1. Like, they just...
With Formula 1s, these cars are built to go fast over a lap.
Yeah.
And these cars aren't built to race. And the difference is, if you look at the World Touring cars here, for examples, or GT3 cars, right? They go into that having to brake and being like inches apart from each other going into the 130R.
Yeah.
And they overtake before, just afterwards, into the next turn, into the next hairpin. You go wide, you go inside out. They go 3 wide even into the hairpins.
Yes.
Trying it at least. And with Formula One, there is this race, Monza, Monaco, it is qualifying windshield race.
This is just generally a problem. And that really, the slower racing is, the better the racing is, because the driver has more of an impact. And so the biggest problem with Formula One is that they accelerate at a crazy rate and they brake at a crazy rate. And when your braking zone, even if it's 100 meters, if that braking zone is like actually 0.3 of a second or 0.5 of a second, that braking zone is so tiny time-wise, it makes it very difficult for somebody else to make a braking, make an out-braking maneuver, because if they're already braking at 0.5 of a second, to make an overtake, you probably need to reduce that braking, the time on brakes to say 0.4 of a second. But that's reducing it by a fifth.
Yeah,
that's a huge reduction, and they're already on the limit. So this is why the racing it really is worse than it's been. Certainly, when people get very reminiscent about the racing in the past, like if you look back to like the 80s and the 90s, where the cars were fast, but it's
a combination though, because we see lots of overtaking in tracks like this weekend, Bahrain. I'm pretty sure we'll see lots of overtaking at tracks like, I mean,
well, this is
sort
why
of hurts it, but Las Vegas, it has been an excellent spectacle and race day always so far.
Well, this is why we have DRS, and it's why we need DRS, because the only way to gain an advantage is for your car to physically have an advantage, and that's what DRS does. Because
or have a wide enough track to actually have different lines in.
I don't know if even a wide enough track helps, because, like I said, the braking zones are in a Formula One car.
I mean, I if you have a track with medium, low to medium, fast corners in Formula One, we're in trouble. And the only reason to counter that is to either make them high-speed corners, so you can get close.
But high-speed corners don't work, because then you've got no braking zone hardly.
But you can get close DRS. You can overtake on straights.
Yeah, potentially. But this was the problem with Suzuka, is that the only place to overtake, or the only place with DRS, was down the main straight. You come onto the main straight off a slow corner, but then you go into basically no braking zone. So even if you've got DRS, you can't then use that advantage to get alongside and then outbrake somebody. And the final corner is a chicane into a bend that's like, there's no side-by-side action happening there.
No, but that's what I meant. Like if it's a low
tire difference.
Yeah. If it's a lower medium speed corners, it needs to be wide.
Yeah.
Or it has, if you only have high speed corners, then it's not so bad for Formula One, but at least needs, again, that width of the track, because the car's already too wide to have actually try something.
The best overtake, or the main overtaking, happens when you've got a long straight into a very hard braking zone. And even then, they have to get the DRS right, because you look at China, the DRS wasn't quite long enough, and there wasn't really any overtaking on that long straight, and that is a hell of a long straight in China on that back straight.
I'm expecting it this weekend, though.
I am. Bahrain does normally have some good overtakes, because
it's built for Formula One as well.
A long straight on the main, start-finish straight into a hard braking zone.
Into a wide track everywhere.
Yeah. Turn 4, again, is reasonably fast into a hard, not as hard, but a reasonably hard braking zone. You don't get as many overtakes on that sort of back straight off the back hairpin, because it's a bit of a straight, but it doesn't lead into as much of a braking zone. It's all down to top speed and then braking. And Formula One has effectively removed a lot of overtaking from the sport by being so advanced. That's what it comes down to.
Yep. I agree. I got so much more to talk about. We have to go into our predictions from this week and next week, though, James.
Yeah, let's
next week I probably want to talk about the lack of aggressiveness from McLaren sometimes.
Yeah, well, we'll see how they do in this next race,
exactly.
and we'll get into it if we need to. Yeah.
Nobody predicted a Max Verstappen pole position in qualification, and nobody predicted a win for Max Verstappen. Well, pretty good odds to win it.
We both scored 0 points.
Normally, I'd say we both scored in 0 points, except I did predict both of them, James.
Yes, you did.
I did.
I was sure Piastri was going to have a great weekend after China, and he finished third. So go me with my predictions. I don't think I've scored a point yet, have I?
No, it was 0-2 before we started this, in my advantage.
Now it's 4-0.
You predicted Piastri on pole, a win by Norris, and a DNF by Doohan. You nearly had a DNS by Doohan. But he might actually be in trouble this weekend, the rumors go. That he's not healthy enough to start, but we'll see.
Oh, he's still well. Okay.
Yes. But that means probably end of career. But we'll have to talk about it after the next race.
Yeah, we'll see.
I said Max Verstappen gets pole, Max Verstappen wins the race, and Yuki will DNF. Yeah. Well, we didn't have any DNFs, but I got everything else right. And I'm actually stoked about this because I have no idea what made me say this, but we got 3 races in, 3 different winners.
It's very good. The championship's very close. And I mean, McLaren are running away with the constructors, but the drivers' championship is looking pretty awesome already. Yeah.
Yeah. Until they change
the rules. About the Ferrari DNS.
That wing was flexing all of, but that's not discussion this week.
Yeah,
James,
the Ferrari disqualifications have kind of ruined the championship a bit, but that's on them.
We still have 20 left or something.
Yeah,
James,
plenty of races.
Bahrain, pole position.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to get back from your 4-0 behind? Who gets pole position?
I'll try Norris.
Okay.
Come on, Lando. Do it for me.
Piastri.
All right. Yep.
Who's going to win it?
I'll stick with Lando.
I'll go with Piastri.
I'm expecting McLaren to do very well here.
I'm expecting them not having any competition here.
Yeah.
I think it's too fast. I think the wing, they saw the footage of the wing flexing still, going down on the straights. There's no way stopping this car until this rule get changed, especially on tracks like this. I don't see there's any...
All right. One thing I will remind you of is how annoyed you were when they were trying to change stuff on Max's wing and stuff when he was running away with it.
Same thing. 2023. Same thing. Like, I still more of the opinion these things shouldn't be changed during the season.
Frozen.
Oh, I don't know if I got frozen, but I think everyone does. But I still think rule changes should be in front of the season. But the flexi wing, with the Red Bull season, I did still agree that they shouldn't be changing it during the season. They did, and they messed up the season because Red Bull was the only team that was actually able to continue like this, and Ferrari just wet the bed, which ruined the season, right?
Yeah.
This year, I'm still thinking, we knew last year flexi wings would be a thing. We've seen it on the camera. They said we can't change it until, I don't know, race 9. They did change it this weekend. We might have seen a little bit of a difference already. But the footage still shows the McLarens. If you see, there's footage on socials. We might have to link it. But where you see McLaren, Norris chasing Max. Max's wing is just steady. Norris' wing is just going down on the straights.
Yep.
It still goes through the test, so it's still legal. Don't get me wrong, but we know that rule is going to change in round 9.
Yeah.
And after round 9, I think there's definitely difference. But until that race, and until if there's no rain, which there won't be at Bahrain, at least there wasn't. Normally there isn't, and I don't think it looks like this. I don't think there's any stopping the McLarens. The only thing we're stopping McLarens, and that's what we have to talk about next week, is McLaren's strategy and their inner workings together so far, because they should be way more ahead than they are currently.
Or to quote Horner, fix your effing car. Like that's what I think.
Yeah, we can't. If you know it's changing in 6 more races, you're not gonna do it now. So
you've already got your rules in place, and if a team's got those right and they have found something and they're doing very well on it, I really don't like massively closing loopholes and effectively manipulating the championship.
I mean,
that's what it is.
We're on one line there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I do think we'll have a big difference, but we'll see. First DNF, James, this weekend. You tend to get these right, so.
I mean, I got one right,
but not this year.
No, because it technically was a DNS in the end.
Yes.
Who am I going with? I'm going to go with Stroll.
Oh.
The odd classic.
The problem is I wanted to say Tuan. We're not even
I
sure
wanted to, but it might not even start. Yeah, that's why I didn't. I was tempted.
So I am going for Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, okay. That's bold at Bahrain because he normally does well there.
Yeah, which makes him confident. Goes into turn 1 next to Charles Leclerc. They bump again, which they did the past 2 races. So it might just go wrong one of these days.
Maybe, yeah.
And I'm giving you a possibility to come back a little bit, make it exciting. 4-0 my advantage. Let's see if we can make it 06 or 07 this weekend. If we do, we might have to change.
I need to catch up, I need to catch up, or it's going to be boring.
Yeah, if I win this round as well, we might need to change the rules.
No, we're not doing rule changes. We're not doing that.
Mid-season rule changes for prediction. Hey, you got to draw a line somewhere. James, anything you're looking specifically forward to, or any weird predictions you're going to make now? No points, but
I'm looking forward to not having to get up at a ridiculous time to watch the Formula One this weekend. I'm looking forward to a mid-afternoon Sunday race.
It is chill like out. 5 p.m. or something, right? 4 p.m. something.
Yeah, like 3.
Qualification is at 6 Central European time, so 5 UK p.m.
I can probably tell you fairly quickly. The race UK time is 4. So that's British summer time, so it'll be 5 p.m. Central European summertime.
That sounds great, though.
Yeah,
with a beer and a hot dog in my hands, something like that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I am looking forward to Yuki performing this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that as well, to be fair, yeah.
I am a little bit looking forward to the rookies performing this weekend, this Friday, on the rookies, the real new people.
Yeah.
And I am actually looking forward to seeing Hajar perform on this track.
Yeah.
I want to see if the hype is real. Because maybe they have to put Yuki out the Red Bull seat and put him in.
Yeah. I'm always looking forward to watching Hamilton. So I'm hoping maybe Ferrari do a little bit better here than they have done in the past couple of races. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll definitely wait to see. James, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's time to put on the music and see you guys all after next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.